Oh, see. All right.
Hey guys, good morning.
Derek.
Welcome. Derek, holy crap.
Oh my gosh, Derek.
It's alive.
He's
It's alive. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the show before the show. Ben, my man, Ben Kahn. Wendy's. Hey, baby. Let's do it. Welcome into the show before the show, Tuesday, July 9th. Hi, friends. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Derek says, hey, I have been keeping up, just not able to hang on the live show.
Totally get it.
Yep, I do too. People are busy. So we're appreciative because I know Tanya, who listens to us every day, is in surgery today, her cataract surgery. So prayers for her.
Oh,
But she might not be on live for the next 2 days. But she said, I will catch up on the audio after the fact. So that's great. A lot of our listeners, if they're not live, they do catch up. We appreciate that so much. Derek says he listens to the audio while he's driving Uber. That is great how easy it is. When you're driving, you can just pop in the audio on whatever platform. We have so many audio platforms that you can choose from. Literally any audio platform, we're on it. I don't know that there's one that we're not. Derek is sitting here waiting for a group of writers, so he jumped in and said hello.
Yeah, appreciate you guys being here.
I think I just shared our show and we're going to get kicked out of there. I accidentally shared our show on one of those marketplaces, like you sell things, and I just shared it on there. So if we get in trouble, that's what I just did.
Okay, at least you're trying.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't mean to put it on there. They sell things on there. But when we moved, my daughter was selling some things and it showed up on there and I accidentally did that. So you know what? Maybe somebody will buy our show off of there. But the problem is they'll only buy us for a quarter because everything's bargain barn prices there.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the last line of sale.
That's right. The last line. And Ben says we can sell Vic.
Yeah, if I got anything.
We can.
I don't know.
We do need to sell them.
Mm-hmm. If there is anything.
Yeah, I still think selling you on WeQuip in your patriotic swim trunks would be fabulous.
Did you hear the joke about pizza? Never mind. It's a little cheesy.
It's a little cheesy. Okay, that wasn't bad.
That's bad.
Oh, I thought it was kind of cute. Kind of cute. Yep, our thumbnail is Trump's surprising stance on abortion. But I don't think it's so surprising.
No, it's not.
I think it's surprising to a lot of people who want abortion nationally, but the common sense thing to do, he did.
Yeah, he did.
You have to do it. That's what you have to do. We don't agree with abortion here, but that's the right thing to do if you're a constitutional republic.
Very good. Absolutely, Lizzie.
A lot of people that are very pro-life get angry with me when I say that, but it's the way of America.
Well, it's like other laws.
Yeah.
That are on the books.
That's very true.
It is.
You got to bring it back to the states. That's what America was designed to do, that each state has an individual identity, and you can choose to live in the state that fits your identity. I know that's hard. And like Donna's saying, abortion should not be political at all. And I think that's the point Donald Trump was making. Take it back to the states, let the states decide. But both sides do want to make it political. But this time people are not getting as mad at Donald Trump about it as they have in the past, because they know that it's just the right thing to do, even if you don't agree with it personally. And Republicans need to stop making abortion political. We won. It's back to the states.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I agree, Jay. The Wesley Bell and Cori Bush ads make me sick. Me too. I'm so disappointed in Wesley Bell. I still hope he beats Cori Bush. This is St. Louis talk right now here on the show before the show. But Wesley Bell's commercial is all about, you can kill your kid and I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to let you do it. So you can move into the city of St. Louis where you can kill your kid.
Yeah, it really is.
You can abort him in your stomach, or you can go out on the streets downtown and get shot, whichever you want. They really don't protect people there.
Oh, no. No, not at all.
Correct, Bindi. Can't ever put the abortion genie back in the bottle at this point. Really, that's true.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of saying it.
It really is. That's exactly right, Shelley. We need less control from the federal level. That's true. And if you put abortion there, you're making it at the federal level. We don't want the government to tell us what to do.
No, you don't.
That's not a good thing, right or left. Even Republicans, we don't want them telling us what to do. You know what, Vic? The government is here, and they're here to help you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course they are.
They're going to be here to save the
Like
day.
they have all the other times.
That's right.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Okay, let's see here. I don't know. I mean, we got a lot going on today. I just
Yeah, we do.
I just don't know where to start. All right, Joe, we can go ahead and start the show, buddy. Guys, welcome to Cancel This, canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well. Glad you're with us. It is Tuesday, July 9th. We're here till about 10 o'clock Central Time. We'll see where it goes from a time standpoint. Love it when you guys jump in on the people's platform via X and Rumble and YouTube and Facebook as well. You can also listen to us as the show ends and we go to your usual audio listening platforms as well. Apple, Spotify, Google, we are all there. Okay, news headlines, politics, cancel culture, education, you name it, interviews from all over the country as well. And there's a lot going on when it comes to water cooler talk, when it comes to news in our society, when it comes to our society just in general, and of course, what's happening with the presidential election. Okay, Lizzie's ready to rock and roll. Pojo is ready to rock and roll. I am ready to rock and roll. Coming up on the show today, the CDC revealing the COVID vaccines causing an astronomical increase in brain clots. This is going to we're starting to get more and more research on it. It's going to blow your mind, and it's not good. And you don't want to hear it because this is one of those things that, again, that was forced along people. KJP and Kirby, they had to double up yesterday. Amateur hour when it came to the White House press briefing. For the first time in modern history, you actually have reporters who are from liberal networks questioning over and over and over the information they're getting. All of a sudden, people are awake. Thank God they are. How about this? The Chicago mayor is blaming Richard Nixon. God rest his soul. Richard Nixon, it's your fault. 100 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend.
Poor Richard. He can't just rest in peace. People won't leave him alone.
Yeah. The RNC has picked up a monumental speaker, somebody who represents a long-holding Democratic organization, not going to speak at the DNC, speaking at the RNC. That blew my mind. The RNC has also accepted Donald Trump's position on abortion. They really had no idea. You hear people talk about common sense politics or common sense stance. I think this might be a common sense stance.
Yes.
Lizzie was talking about it just a little bit ago. I still can't figure out what's happened with Biden. I mean, one day after thinking there's no way in hell they're going to run him, other people coming in and trying to make it seem as if they've got to have them, people with names. So we'll get into all of that. Jake Tapper and CNN, really, I mean, they are all over Joe Biden right now. And of course, anything else that you guys decide to throw at us on the People's Platform, we appreciate it, of course. Grateful that you're here today. Lizzie, you ready to rock and roll? Is there anything new going on? Anything else?
No, I'm ready to rock and roll. I mean, there's something new every day.
Before we get started with the topic, can we do something really quick?
Sure.
Can you address your moving situation?
Oh, yeah. I brought it up a little bit, and I'm really It's the first
And I don't mean to put you on the spot if you don't want to do it right now.
No, it's totally fine. Joe and I were talking about it this morning. It's the first time I'm very discouraged with police, I guess.
And we love police.
We love police. We're children of police officers. But so any of you have not heard the story, I did bring it up before. During our move, we had a firearm stolen. And so, and it was in a place that my husband had just moved it out of a cabinet. He was telling the movers not to move it. He left to go sign a paper for our move. And then he came back. I was in the house, but with my granddaughter. So I'm not going to be in a room where there's firearms out. My husband has a collection of firearms. He knew the minute he got home, it was taken. He knew it was taken. So he went out to the head mover and explained that to him. He acted like he didn't know, but one of the movers knew exactly where it was. And it was in the front of the truck, and they had already put too much in front of it. So they couldn't get to it. But as soon as they got to the new house, they would get it out. Well, lo and behold, when they get to the new house, they can't find it. So my husband frantically for several days tried to look for it. So the one good thing about that is our house is pretty well set up now, because we had to unload every box in a frenzy. But in the meantime, my husband called the police, let them know, called the jurisdiction where we moved from, same county, different police force. And they were very angry with my husband at first. They were very angry with him and looked at us like we were the crazy ones for letting the firearms get in the hands of a bad guy. When we said that's not what happened, we didn't want them to move them, so on and so forth. So for the whole weekend of that move, they were on top of this. They were calling us, did we find the firearm? They wanted us to be, accountable for where this firearm went. At no point, and there again, we felt like that was a great thing, that they wanted to find it. Well, lo and behold, my husband does find not the firearm, but the case. So my husband not only had it in the actual protected, it was a Glock, in the Glock case, but in it, he had it in another container that was see-through that also had pocket knives. Why he had a couple old credit cards in there, I don't know. It's no big deal. They took one of those, but they had been stopped, and they took a pocket knife. And so my husband, 4 days later, found it, but we only found it because he was installing a TV in our basement, and it was in the back room, and our cat ran out from where that was, and it was tucked underneath this cabinet where you wouldn't find it for probably years. And that would make sense why during the move they didn't put anything in our back room. They took this box, shoved it up under where you would not see it, and put a big portrait in front of it. So it took us 4 days to find it. So the part that's discouraging is now we know 100% it was stolen. Now, not that we didn't before, but everybody now believes it was stolen and we didn't just misplace it. The moving company believes it. The 2 jurisdictions of police officers have been involved in this. But here's where it gets disappointing. So over the weekend in St. Louis, there was a lot of gun activity going on. We don't know if that's our gun or not, and nobody cares. So we still have the proof where the fingerprints are at. The police told us to take this case, put it up high so no one else touches it so they can get fingerprints off of it. So this happened now almost 2 weeks ago, and no one has come to get the evidence. So there's a firearm floating around with a criminal and nobody cares. And my husband even called the mover. The mover still has those people on the job. And everyone knows a gun was stolen. We're not talking about a TV or a piece of glass or a piece of we're talking about a firearm. And the police have yet to come out. They have yet to come and get it. They have yet to dust prints on it or anything. In the meantime, these movers are still moving. And at first,
And the gun hasn't been found?
No, the gun has not been found. Nobody knows where this gun is, and nobody seems to care now. They sure cared when they thought we mishandled the gun. But now that they learned we did not mishandle the gun, it was stolen. And my husband even contacted by email the police chief. We have a detective assigned. We've never talked to the detective. My husband has contacted the police chief, has called 2 jurisdictions, and no one seems to care. But they sure cared when they thought we mishandled the gun. But now that it's just missing and they have the serial number, and now trying to defend the police, maybe they figured that that gun is gone. They're never going to find it, no matter how hard they look. But they have the serial number. So if it is involved in a crime or a shooting, they know it's not us. I don't either. My husband and I are flabbergasted at nobody cares. Nobody cares that there is a firearm that was missed. And my husband talked to the mover yesterday and he said they're still on the job. And he's like, well, they haven't been found guilty. Okay, I get that. And I guess as an employer, that's hard. But they do admit they know the firearm was taken during our move.
Who admits that?
The mover admits it.
The mover that was there?
Well, the mover that's there, we can't talk to them anymore. So we don't know.
So
but
the
company is admitting and has apologized to us till they're blue in the face that this happened, but they feel like they can't fire anyone because they don't know which one of them did it.
So they believe you that there was a gun.
They believe us. They believe us.
Has anybody said they saw a gun?
Yeah, one of the movers did. And that's where a friend of ours that's no longer on the force said, that's your guy. Because when my husband got home and knew that it was missing, one of the guys knew exactly where it was, and it was at the front of the truck. They just couldn't get to it at that point. So, and they had put a bunch of things on the truck. So that being said, there is at least one mover that knew exactly about it.
Damn.
And our friend that's a former detective said, that's your guy. That's the guy that took it or was involved with taking it. So it should be hard to figure out which mover it is. There was 5 people that could have done it. And at this point, no one has come to get the fingerprints off of the things that we have. And if they would get the fingerprints and these people have ever been involved in a crime before, that would kind of say something.
Did you guys forget that the gun was there?
No, not at all.
Because somebody was asking, how did they get it out of the case? Or was it not in a case?
Well, it wasn't a case. That's the interesting thing. So we had them, they're normally in a gun case.
Mm-hmm.
So but we knew we could not let the movers move it. We had no intentions of letting the mover move it. My husband had them in our bedroom, told them not to come in there until he got home, was clear to me, and said because we had already moved the gun case, but the guns were sitting on the side of our bed behind our door. And he was told, do not go in there. Don't anyone go in there. So the only thing I guess that we could have done differently is, actually, we don't know what we could have done differently because my husband had to leave while the movers were there to sign the last document on closing on our house. And so you can't just have all these firearms in your car and bring them all in while you're at a closing place too. So it was actually it was secured, but it wasn't, the Glock case was not locked, but it was inside another container. So somewhere between our house and what we're speculating is it at some point they opened it up and took that out, but we don't know where. We're thinking it happened at the new house. We're thinking it got moved in its box, put up front. And see, things are very peculiar at our house during the move, and we thought so during that period of time. Everything that we told to move back in our storage room, they moved nothing. They kept moving them in different rooms. And every time I tried to go back in there, they're like, oh yeah, we forgot that's the storage room. So now looking back, it was very obvious what they were doing. So our guess is that the firearm was put in that back room, taken out at that point, because it was also behind a furnace. So you had to really look. It was behind a furnace that was real close to the wall, inside underneath a TV cabinet, hide behind a big portrait.
Well, number one, it was insured, right? Was a gun insured maybe?
Yeah, our guns are insured. That's not the point. The money isn't our problem.
That's the first part.
The gun is insured.
The second part is the fact that you've got a gun somewhere. Are you at a point where you're ready to tell the moving company name or not?
I don't want to tell it yet, but I'm getting really close to telling it. I wasn't going to tell because I don't want to hurt them, because everybody, we've all had, any of us that own companies.
No, you have a heart.
I owned a company before, and you'll have a bad egg. You will have a bad egg. But the reason I'm upset with them now is if I knew that one of 5 people stole a firearm, they would all be put on leave until I found out who did it. Like, I owned a childcare center. If I knew one of 5 employees stole a firearm, you can't just fire them. I do understand that, but they wouldn't be on the job till I got to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And nobody cares. The moving company doesn't care. The police do not care, because if they cared, they would have been right out.
No, I agree. It would have been done.
And they weren't. And they weren't. And I agree with Mitch that we don't want to have people that are guilty until proven innocent. I get that. But we're not talking about a sofa. We're talking about a firearm.
And are the police understaffed, overworked?
I'm sure they are. And I love the police. So I am not meaning to, but it's like they're passing. And here's something else that I didn't say in the story. Everybody's passing the buck. So we moved from one county into a different municipality. And so the new municipality came over right away. They were
welcome
to
St. Louis municipalities.
Right. So
or St. Louis
we were in
area.
two different municipalities. So the first one was the one that was really upset with us. And now they don't care because it's been found to be stolen and we weren't negligent. And so then the new municipality, they were serious about it. They came right out. But then when they saw it, they're like, yep, it was stolen. Yep, we believe you, but we're not going to deal with this. So we're going to give it back to the old municipality. And I have former police officer friends that said they're both passing the buck because the new municipality could have taken it and put it in for processing and then drove it over or whatever. But we're told we can't even drive it in, that we need to just put it safely and stop touching it. So, I mean, there is no.
I wanted you to address it just because I couldn't believe it was still going on.
It's still going on almost 2 weeks later.
And nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to deal with it.
So it doesn't appear as if that gun will be found.
And you know what? It's not going to be found. We understand the gun is not going to be found, but the criminal can be found if you do prints. Because if you're going to steal a gun, this isn't the first time you did this. You probably stole something before and you have prints. But I think, like Mitch is saying, when you defund the police, and I live in a county that the police has not been defunded though, because it's St. Charles County. And so, but even then, I'm starting to think that even in my county with all the illegals, and this is probably my point to all of this, is there's so much more crime in my county than there was even 3 or 4 years ago because of the illegals and because of there's still the regular criminals. And then you've got illegals that they are so understaffed, I believe, giving the police officers the benefit of doubt that the fact I don't have that gun anyway, and there's nothing they can do about it at this point, except for get prints. We're at the bottom of the barrel of their concern. And
well,
that's scary to me.
Well, if by chance there's an update, let us know. If by chance you want to talk about the company's name, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll do it. I was just trying to give an update because I couldn't believe that nothing was done. And yes, fingerprints should have been taken within a day or
so. And no one has done that. And like I said, within a day, we had the new municipality at our house, but then they passed the buck too. I mean, everybody's passing the buck. And like Brenda's saying, plus they should fingerprint all 5 who did the job. And we're not hearing that's happening because the moving company said, as far as he knows, he's not heard from anybody. So if his people got fingerprinted, they don't know. So, I mean, that would solve the problem of these movers.
I did moving for a long time.
You were a mover?
Oh my God. I'm telling you what, we are a sketchy group. There's
I didn't want to say that, but they looked a little sketchy.
No, there are some good men and women who move.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's a very easy, attainable job that.
Correct.
And there's not enough movers.
That's right. And I'm sure that's what the moving company's thinking. If they let all 5 of these people go, because at least one of them, we don't know if all 5 know, but one of them did it. But we don't know. And so he doesn't know. We're almost positive we know which one did it because that's the one that told my husband that he had it. But no, as far as I know, that person, which we've kind of narrowed it down to 2 who we think it could be. But that's the thing. Like Brenda is saying that they should have fingerprinted them all. Terry's saying, yeah, when it was used in a crime, if somebody gets killed by this, I mean, I don't know. And what made it even bigger is over the 4th of July weekend, because everyone is telling us that gun is no longer in our county. That gun is probably downtown.
Not. Of course.
And we'll never see it again. And you know what? That's not what we're worried about. We'll just buy another one, or the moving company has already agreed to buy us another one. They have already agreed to do that. So, all we have to do is decide which one we want. And we just want the one replaced, just the same one. Although this one's a couple years old, so we would need a newer one. But like Mitch is saying.
And the moving company, in my humble opinion, can't do anything else but offer that to you, right?
Correct. They can't do anything else. And so that's why I don't want to trash them, because they said that they've had 57 moves and we are only one they've heard that has had a problem. Well, it only takes one time. I mean, It only takes one. And Mitch is saying all are in on it. That's what I believe too. I believe that they all know about it because their behavior in our downstairs.
What's a gun like that go
weird.
for? What's a gun like that go for?
Probably $800.
Oh, damn.
And I find it kind of weird that
that beats a day of working on the job.
Yeah.
That David had to leave to go sign something about the move while that was happening.
Correct.
So
It's all very weird, isn't it? I mean, it's
Yeah.
all very weird. And when we look back, I said to my youngest daughter, are these people not listening to me? Or am I not making it clear that that's the back room and the room they're putting in is a bedroom? Because everything, my daughter's bedroom was downstairs and they put everything that should have been in the storage room in her bedroom because they didn't want to be in the back room. Now I get that.
Ben, a super successful business owner, and of course, part of the Wenty's crew with his wife, he says he'd fire the whole crew.
Correct. Yes. And that says a lot when Ben says that.
Yeah, I agree.
And that was very disturbing to me yesterday.
Did your movers speak English?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were clearly from St. Louis, I would say. St. Louis County, St. Louis City, somewhere like that. They were not illegals. Nobody was illegal, or that I know of. I don't think that they were illegal. But that's what I thought too. When my husband talked to the owner of the moving company yesterday, and he said every one of them is still on the job. That to me is when I at first wanted to tell everybody who the moving company is, because I agree with Ben. And as a former business owner, those employees would not have been back in my building till I saw who did it. And if all of them knew and covered for them, they would be fired too.
Exactly. Robert said he had a gun stolen in 86, nickel plated, 357, only thing taken. Filed a police report, never heard another thing. Still have the police report just in case from 1986.
Yeah, you got to have, you now have to have it for your own protection.
Yeah, and Megan jumped in. She says in all the moves in her life, I haven't had one company that has done a good job.
Yeah.
Lazy, milking the minutes, and sketchy. It's a shame. I don't trust any of the moving companies. And when I was a mover in college and then post-college, and I used to go back and do, because if you would do a date, it's like cash jobs.
Yeah.
You can go bust your butt. You can make $300, $400 pretty quick and easy. And I'm just saying I'm just going to say what I look like and what my guys look like. We all look very different.
Yes.
And I don't want to rip movers because there are some damn good people. I recently did a move and my crew was absolutely amazing. The best crew I've ever had. The best by far. Blew my freaking mind how good they were. Yeah. And ironic. Yeah. And they were out of Wentzville. Gosh, I can't remember the name of them right now. Wentzville in Missouri, but they were amazing.
Yeah. And there are some amazing people, and I don't want to crucify this company yet because I don't believe the owner was in on it at all. It's a husband and wife team, and they were never there that day. They didn't do it, but they're employees. But when you own a company, the problems trickle uphill. So
they do. Well, thank you for sharing about that, Lizzie. You never know where we're going to go with some of the things that we have. But yeah, we'll continue to. Mitch says U-Haul to do your U-Haul.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It makes you think that you want a U-Haul, don't it? You just have so much
sucks.
to move. Moving does suck. It does suck.
We hate it. Moving is not fun. This is cancelthisshow.com. We appreciate. Oh, Ben's Moving. That's right. Because I'm sure Megan found it for me. Ben's Moving is who I used. And I'm telling you.
Ben is moving now or the moving company?
No, the company's called.
Oh, got it.
Ben's Moving. Out of Wentzville is who I used, and by far the best crew I ever had.
That's awesome.
Busted their ass so they could try to be even quicker. And you know what? I tipped them more.
Yeah,
and I tried to help them because I get it. And like I said, I was a mover for a long time.
Yeah.
Cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. We got a lot of things coming up, especially when it comes to Biden and Trump and Chicago mayor blaming Richard Nixon for tons of people being shot and killed in Chicago. KJP and Kirby having to double team a press conference at the White House yesterday. It was epic. It was unprecedented. That's for sure. Trump's abortion issues. He's making common sense with abortion, more status quo for Republicans. Very, very interesting. Very interesting at how he's looking at things. We'll get into that. I wanted to bring this up right now, too, though. The CDC did a study. This is the CDC, okay? CDC. Study reveals that the COVID cupcakes have caused a 795,000% increase in brain clots.
Oh.
Let me repeat that for you. A CDC study has now confirmed, revealing that the COVID cupcakes have caused let's just put it this way, nearly a 112,000% increase in brain clots. I know People aren't surprised because of some of the things that we've said. But once again, when we took it, it was experimental and we had no idea. So that study has just come out. You're not going to see it in mainstream media. Of course, you don't want to scare people. But once again, we're just trying to be real, trying to be raw, be truthful about things that are happening, things that are coming up. So that's a study that you need to know that has taken place. We know people who have dealt with certain things. We know others who have been just fine. But at the same point in time, when a study like this is done, you need to bring it to the forefront. That's for sure. Because I know people, you know, if we were forced and did everything that we had to do, if anybody got it, you know, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you pray and you pray that things are going to be the best that they possibly can be. But that should piss people off. And once again, when it comes to, quote, vaccines of any sort, you got to be careful. You just do. You got to know. I mean, you've got to know what you're taking. You've got to know why. And of course, if we get put into a situation like this again, that's why we say, remember the scorecard, remember what's happening. Mitch says, yeah, and Bill Gates got extra cash for everything that was going on.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And we all knew. I mean, it's like the ones of us that did not take it and were adamant about it, it seemed common sense to us because any, quote, vaccine or shot in your arm that is just shoved through like that, you have to wonder what's in it. You have to wonder, have they been planning this all along and they're going to hurt you? And yeah, Mitch is right. Bill Gates got a healthy little payday.
Yeah. Does that still piss people off?
Oh,
when
it
they see
pisses
him?
me off. That little twerp. There's a special place in hell for him and Fauci. Both of them. They knew exactly what was going on.
Well, I think we're going to get more information coming through too, as
Of
well,
course.
as time goes on.
Right. And we know that because even people with the CDC, a lot of them knew too. But then on the other side, a lot of people with CDC are people that are, you know, bred, so to speak, and trained. Everything is fear, 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 death, death, death. Let's be careful. Let's be careful. And they're not as much to blame as, say, the people that knew better. Because I have friends that took it and I pleaded with them not to take it. But I understand fear is a factor in people's lives and they thought they were doing what they needed to do. And now they're finding out, dang. I mean, my youngest the other day looked at my husband and I and said, you were right all along about all of this. And I said, I don't want to be. That's not something I want to be right about. It's just, to me, it seemed like common sense that if somebody from the government and somebody like Fauci, who was involved in the AIDS, he scared people unrelentlessly about the AIDS issue too, and lied about how you can get AIDS and let people think things were one way when they weren't, and you can only get AIDS one way. You can't get it because somebody spit in the air.
Well, we just try to get to the bottom of all the issues that we possibly can through our own research, through your research as well, and then talking about it. And of course, getting that information out. And a lot of comments coming in right now. Susan says, I'm hearing a lot about vertigo, people being diagnosed with vertigo when they've never had issues of that with their family
Yes.
or themselves in previous years.
Yeah, I have too.
Heather says the cupcake was a way to depopulate and control. No surprise.
Yep. A lot of us said that. It's all, why do you think our government is pushing abortions and pushing things that are going to kill you? Both if you get the C and if they put it in you.
I've heard of this. I have not seen any of it. Chris reminds us about a documentary called Died Suddenly.
Yeah.
Sounds like the creators are working on a sequel to do more discoveries, and that's scary and sad at the same point in time. Kevin calls it sinister. And of course, Paula says, guys, my sister are having so many problems, and it all started after getting the cupcake. She won't even bring that into the conversation anymore. She won't even think that it's a possibility. And I did hear of this. Thank you, Glenn. The state of Kansas suing Pfizer because over 400 pregnant women took the cupcake. 50% had adverse effects, 10% miscarriages. That's not by chance.
No.
Anybody in the medical field at any point in your life with any sort of knowledge and half a brain knows that's not by chance.
That's right. That's right. And it was scary during that period of time. My daughter was pregnant with my only granddaughter, Liberty, and she got COVID really bad, but she didn't take the vaccine and she survived. But I think, could you imagine if she had gotten COVID and had gotten the vaccine, we probably wouldn't have Liberty today. So, I mean, that's just so profound when you think of the grandkids or the child you could have had, but these people want to kill your kid. I mean, they really do. And if you don't think that that's not true, you're not looking deep enough, that they want to depopulate not even just our country, the world.
Well, we're going to get into some of that other today too coming up as well. Jeannie says, I can't believe that there were pregnant women who took that. I'm just going to tell you, when I
Me
was still on
either.
Fox 2,
Yeah, I can't believe it.
my co-anchor did a story on why it was safe for pregnant women.
That's terrible.
And I was just like,
That's abusive.
why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But once again, that's why you just can't trust local news, local media when it comes to major issues of medical. You just can't. I mean, maybe weather,
Yeah.
sports, city council meetings, things like that, but not when it comes to major, massive medical issues like this. It's going to be Trump's fault. He rushed it in. Just wait and see. That's the sarcastic comment. And yeah, all of Trump's fault. So when we get those studies that come out, we just pass them along. We try to bring it up and let everybody know what the hell's going on with things. But you have people who make excuses.
That's right.
Somebody said they heard somebody, but I still see masks on people.
I do too.
And hey, if they want to wear a mask, that's fine. I just like, I look and I'm like, damn, that life would really, really suck right now
I know.
to have a mask on your face.
After church, we went to a restaurant, and this young, good looking man, he looked like, he was good looking because you could tell with his face. He wore a mask and he was the host, but he had his mask like way down here. And it's like, what is the point? Like, if you don't cover your nose and your mouth, it's doing nothing. Whatever you think is going to get in your mouth is going to get in your nose. And I wanted to take that little boy, because he was probably all of 20, and hug him and go, honey, who's not telling you the truth?
I did see this movie. Jay says, what's scary? Watch the movie Contagion. It was a 2013 release, and it's almost exactly of what happened with the pandemic. It is. I saw the movie and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is what we just dealt with. Once again, movie predicting and a prelude to what happens in the future in so many instances in life.
Wow.
Yeah. It makes it easier to find the village idiots by the mask that they wear, according to Chris. All right. So if you find those studies, if you find other information that's coming up, let us know. And as always, please like, subscribe, share the show. This is canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. We call it affectionately the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. We put a lot of time into this and we love it. Jay said, by the way, the similarities blew his mind from Contagion to what we actually dealt with in 2020 and moving forward. Money through the death. Interesting. We'll have Grayson. You guys might have remembered Grayson Wood from the Ozarks. Robert just brought him up. He said Grayson Wood in the state national conversation. If you remember when we got into state nationals, we're not going to do it right now, but you are bonded, and through the parents' patry, the government is the beneficiary of your Cuesta v. Trust, money for them through death. I wonder if that had any sort of connections.
Maybe it did. And that's funny, because what he's saying to most people, what Robert's saying probably sounds Greek to them. Part of the words, like, I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about there either. But that being said, you can't trust the government, because the government is not here to help you. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's talking about the trust, anything that you die and that you leave, the government gets it. I mean, think about how much you have to get your own trust and get things. So when you die and you want to pass this on to loved ones, the government doesn't steal all your money. You can't just have a will these days. It used to be you could have a will, but if you don't have a trust, the government takes a lot of your stuff.
It sounds like what Robert's saying is we're worth more dead than we are alive.
Well, isn't that the truth in most cases?
And not for family members if we're dead. That would be worth more for the government.
That's right. If you don't
somehow, some way.
That's right. If you do not protect yourself, we are definitely worth more dead than alive.
Damn.
So you better protect yourself. This is just my call out to make sure you have a trust and not just a will.
Okay. I know. We continue to follow it. Let us know if you have any ideas when it comes to those stories, if you're seeing anything in your community, your family members, your friends, when it comes to any sort of the side effects or anything that's pushing forward, as we have seen that happens in 2024, after effects of what people were forced. Most people felt like they were forced to do, even though they didn't want to have to deal with that. The Chicago mayor, who was, if it's possible to be worse than Lori Lightfoot, he might be worse than Lori Lightfoot.
And that's really hard to do.
And he ran on a more progressive platform than even Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah, he really did. He doesn't look like Beetlejuice, but he is just as liberal.
No, I know. And what he did was he came out yesterday in a press conference. They had over 100 people shot in Chicago over the weekend. 100.
Yeah, that's a lot. A lot.
And he blamed it on Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon? You mean dead Richard Nixon?
Yeah. I mean, his name is Brandon Johnson. And this guy is something else.
Let's go, Brandon.
Listen to this, what he had to say yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, here it is. So interesting.
So we cut off the pipeline of boys between the ages of 10 and 19 being either victims or the perpetrators. So, yeah, it is personal. Black death has been unfortunately accepted in this country for a very long time. We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes, and people mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon. I'm gonna work hard every day to transform this city. That's what it takes to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago, and I need everybody to step up. So we cut off the pipeline.
Okay.
He's a special kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, that statement was unreal.
Well, a lot of his comments have been very racist.
Yes.
And he got elected that way. But once again, it shows you who is in Chicago and what makes up Chicago right now, or at least the greater part of the city of Chicago.
That's right.
I mean, 19 people dead in one weekend over the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And a spike in gun violence at all. And he says it goes back to Richard Nixon because it started there and we allow Black people just to kill each other and we don't care about it. Really?
That is so ridiculous. I mean, who doesn't care about Black on Black crime is the liberals. They're the ones that don't care about that because they just think it's great. I mean, it's mum's the word when there's Black on Black crime.
He's trying to say that he's using federal resources to take care of everything that's going on. And he's asking federal authorities to respond to mass shootings in Chicago, just like they do in other places of the country. That's a lie. They get all kinds of help in Chicago. And the same, St. Louis had a horrible weekend as well.
We sure did. Yeah, we sure had a horrible weekend. And was this Brandon guy, the mayor, was he defending Lyndon Johnson?
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You talk about the most racist. I mean, he was like a progressive before progressives were a thing. I mean, he single-handedly started to ruin the environment in that period of time.
Well, the problem that he blamed Nixon and praised Lyndon Johnson, but he didn't say why he blamed Nixon.
Yeah.
He didn't go on to give any specific details, even though he was contacted via email by reporters, by TV stations, by the paper.
Because they don't know.
He says, quote, Mayor Johnson's reference to President Nixon is gratuitous, and the facts are not on his side in this characterization of Richard Nixon. This is from the Richard Nixon Foundation, by the way, and the Nixon administration's civil rights record. So they're saying that he is a liar and he didn't give any ideas. He didn't give any facts. He didn't give any statements. But this is the mayor of the city of Chicago. Yeah. This is how far and how fast Chicago has fallen in a very quick amount of time.
It really has. I mean, Chicago is very scary now to go there, even in broad daylight. It's just different. It has a different aura. We were there, twice, maybe 3 times in the last year for volleyball tournaments, and it just doesn't feel safe when you go there. And, like Kathy was saying, start holding mothers and fathers accountable before you blame others. And I don't disagree with her either. But here's the point. We can blame them both because just in St. Louis, when you mentioned St. Louis, there was a lot of kids, and I'm saying kids under the age of 21 and under the 18 that were caught with massive amount of firearms in the city and all kinds of fireworks late at night. And they were arrested. A lot of them were brought in and arrested. And here's what happened. This is why I blame sometimes other people as along with parents is because the prosecutor let him out. And I'm not saying Gabe Gore because he's not responsible for the juveniles. So whoever is the prosecutor for juveniles, let every one of them out. And guess who they released him to? The parents.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
To the parents, as long as the parents came. But did they really look at those parents? to Kathy's point, a lot of those parents are kids themselves, and they're part of the problem. The parents today are having their kids commit the crime because they know an underage person isn't going to get in any trouble at all. No trouble. That's why a lot more children are burglarizing you and holding people up in the clothing store.
Brandon Johnson, man, I just the city of St. Louis has it too.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin has a lot of crime. St. Louis is per capita worse than Chicago. It really is. And you don't see them address. It's always like pointing the finger somewhere else.
That's right. But they don't address the problem. Keep your kids at home. Don't have your kids roaming the street after 10 o'clock at night. If your kids all have firearms, ask them where they got them. Did they get them from the parents? I mean, what's going on? And they don't. They always talk about, a lot of time, progressive lefts, just like this Brandon guy talked about, the root of the problem. Okay, what is the root of the problem? You're always saying there's a root of the problem, and you're blaming it on some Republican, but then you can't give any facts. No facts. You know, if you hear any liberal talking, even liberal talk show hosts, they come with no facts. They come with no truth. It's just they feel that Richard Nixon was to blame. But where's the facts? When you ask them facts, they can't give them to you.
Man, we ask people to call us out. If we're not giving you facts,
yeah, call us out. We want to know.
We do the research and we put the time in that it takes to do this. I can't tell you how many times I've heard liberals, bleeding heart liberals, progressive liberals saying, well, this is how I feel. And they don't talk about fact, which is what this show's about. We're about fact first, not feelings. It's about facts, not feelings, facts, not feelings. And then we'll get to the feelings after we have the facts, because you can't have anything that's worthwhile unless you have truth. And you know that. If you have some sort of relationship and you're lying or being lied to, it's just a matter of time before things will fall apart, which is why you have to have truth and you have to have facts. Facts.
That's right. And they're not getting to the root of the problem. And I'm just going to call it out. In blue cities is where people live, or are brought up, or choose to live, where there is no consequences to your action. And the culture in these blue cities is of crime, and I'm going to go take what's mine, even if it's yours. You go out to a red city, people are responsible for themselves, and they don't want the government telling them what to do. So, I mean, it is a culture in these blue cities, and that's why it's happening there. And that's why they hire these prosecutors that let these criminals off.
It's near and dear to our hearts. We get frustrated with it and what we see, because once again, we see crime as it's gone up and up and up year after year and year. And then, as Lizzie brought up in the beginning of the show, we also now have an increase of crime, and you can tie it also to more and more illegal aliens coming into this country. And of course, looking to do whatever they possibly can to survive. And then you have programs and money that aren't as good as they used to be, and you can't supply the needs of everybody. Do I get concerned about that? 100%. And then what else do we have this year? We have an election coming up. And we also have politicians and we have groups that do threaten violence. And this isn't just saying, oh, Donald Trump, if he's in, he's going to come after people. No, this is the flip side, where we actually have groups saying, yeah, there's going to be riots, there's going to be crime if a Donald Trump is elected. I mean, people flat out saying it publicly. So yeah, do I get concerned? I 100% get concerned about all of that stuff. I also have to believe that if we don't call it out day after day after day, it's going to get worse. And guess what? Just like Lizzie was talking about, with a gun being missing, and even police forces that we love and respect in the heart of red Trump areas of St. Charles County, they still can't do what they need to do. And they're not doing what they need to do.
Well, and speaking of that, someone from this show must have some pull or something, because I'm laughing because my husband just texted me and said, well, lo and behold, after you went on that rant, the detective is on their way to our house.
Okay, we're not trying to brag, but we know we have a big reach on the show.
Yeah.
Especially, we're based out of the St. Louis metropolitan area in the state of Missouri, but we have listeners and viewers who are both live and watch us on our tape show all across America. So how many times? 8 to 10 times where we say things?
At least.
Maybe just the last few months
then the reaction happens.
Where we say something, or we bring up a company, or we bring up something, and boom.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Well, I don't know. All of a sudden, I don't know. He just said, well, isn't that funny? After your rant, the detective notified me and is on the way to our house after all of this.
But we never said a company.
Nope. Nope. Never called out a detective's
We
name.
never
I
called out a
called-
police department,
Nope.
and we won't do that.
Nope. No. And that's why I didn't want to call out the company, because I just want this to get fixed. I don't necessarily want to get this company in trouble, but I do think they should fire their employees.
Mitch says 12 times since January, they've been cut off our live feed.
Yes,
And that's only when we talk about certain people that we've
Uh-huh.
seen that happen.
that's right.
When we talk about Antarctica,
Mhm.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
What else,
Mhm.
Joe? Joe is our conspiracy theory accountant in regards
And
to
he's usually
5G.
right.
what's that?
5G.
Yeah. 5G.
Oh, that was
yeah.
the weird one.
Yeah.
That was
5G.
really weird.
All of a sudden, we started having issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are our top three.
That is. And that's
Isn't
why we
it?
speak in code.
We had to talk. We had to
sometimes.
refer to him as BG once.
We
when
did.
We were talking about
We
a
did.
story.
Yeah.
BG. Here we go. BG,
Uh-huh.
5G,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
the AT.
Mhm. And Jeannie's like, how ironic. And it is true. And this has happened more than once, that we will rant about something and somebody hears it and something happens where we get results.
But it's not ranting. You were giving
I was just giving the truth.
information.
Yeah, I was just giving the truth. It sounded, I know my voice sounded ranty about it because I was upset about it.
Well, and you're concerned.
I'm very
Understand.
concerned that there's a firearm out. You guys would not even be hearing about it if they stole my couch. Wouldn't even be saying anything about it. But it's something that could harm someone and
Hell
take
yeah,
their
it
life.
could.
That's why. But it just shows that, I mean, there's several times now that we've talked about something that we do get restitution, or at least we get some attention to what's going on.
I have to say, I'm not a gun owner. It's not that I don't want a gun. I just haven't yet. But I can only imagine, as a gun owner, having your gun stolen and then finding out that there were shootings over the weekend.
Right.
And stuff with it. I can only imagine what that would feel like and the thoughts that would go.
Yes,
through
we're
your head.
very unsettled by what happened, and because we were told by friends that are former police officers that our gun got into the hands of a mover who took it to the city. And so, and then you hear about somebody came here for a concert this weekend and was totally innocent and got grazed. Then you hear of another person in the city of St. Louis. This came out this morning, that he was on a walk in the park, and I'm assuming Forest Park, but I don't know which park. And somebody runs up to them and goes, I'm in trouble, and stands behind this visitor that was staying in a hotel. And the two bad guys in masks shoot him, and now he's in surgery for his hip. I mean, that all happened in St. Louis this weekend. I'm not saying my gun went to Chicago, but I mean, there is two
It was sold.
out-of-towners.
If somebody's going to steal a gun,
You think it was sold?
their experience, hell yes.
Yeah, okay.
If you
That
get
could be it
$600,
too.
$600, $800,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Yeah, Jeannie's saying that
absolutely.
too, that it was sold.
By
I'm
the way,
sure.
did you have the serial numbers on that gun because it was insured? Because if you're insured, you're getting serial.
On our case, and it's still registered where we bought it. So both where we bought it has it, and the case had it, and my husband had it written down. So we had that, right away. So I don't know, to be honest, I never asked him if it was on the gun. I'm assuming it was. I don't know. I didn't ask him that. But so there you go. Like Connie's saying, it's nice that we have connections. And I don't know that I'm the one that had the connection, because we were trying to get somebody to pay attention to us and they weren't. Somebody that listens to the show is the one with the connections.
Yeah. We just took a little right turn real quick from a part of the show that we had earlier. Yeah, the serial number's on the gun. I get it. It can be scratched out.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. I get it. And we appreciate you jumping in and watching us. But that was an interesting update. So hopefully something will happen. What the detectives can do at this point, I don't know.
All they're doing is taking to process it, which from it, they supposedly can get DNA, I've been told, and fingerprints. I don't know about the DNA, but they can swab the bad guy too, apparently. And
So-
swab the
But there
case.
is no gun. Oh, so the case.
The case. Somebody had to open not only the box that is clear. I didn't make that clear, that it was clear. So inside the box, you knew that there was a firearm in there. So then when you go in there and you see the case, the person had to touch a box and things inside of it, because they rifled through what was also in it. So the fingerprint should be all over this.
I already
bad boy.
know the answer to this question. I almost asked you earlier, and I'm like, I'm not going to ask it because I know what the answer is. The question was it loaded? And I guarantee it was not loaded. I was wrong.
Well, okay.
You got to be locked and loaded, ready to go, right?
Okay, they took the magazine. So the gun itself was not loaded, but anybody that knows it's a gun knows that there's a magazine, and the magazine was sitting right next to it, and they took the magazine too, and the ammunition that was in the box. So the gun itself was not loaded, but okay. The magazine was right there. So anybody's gunner, you can take it, click, 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 and it's loaded.
It is interesting, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it wasn't loaded, but they took the ammunition in the magazine.
No, it is. An unloaded, locked up gun will not protect you.
Correct.
Hey,
Correct.
hold on a second. Let me go get my gun out of my gun case.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, okay? Just hold on one quick second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Finally, I'll be happily surprised if anything good happens regarding your stolen gun situation from the chat line, Lizzie.
I just would like to see that moving company doesn't set themselves up for failure, because I do think they're a nice young company. And if they keep this criminal or criminals, and at this point, I think all 5 of them are, because by now they all know, and I want them to let them go so they can keep their company. Because, I understand when you start.
Lizzie, you have a heart of gold, and I'm going to interrupt. I mean, if people don't know, she has a heart of gold, and she's super intelligent, and her family is great, and they've tried to help me and Joe. And I mean, you have a heart of gold. You do. And you're always trying to take care of people.
Well, it's just, I know how hard it is to start a business, and I know, and one bad egg can ruin it. So I don't want the company to be ruined. We know that.
Been there, done that.
Been there, we know that. One bad egg can really ruin.
Or set you back for sure.
Yes. And so I don't want that to happen to them. I really don't. And that's why I've posted, you guys know who it is, because I sent you 2 pictures, but I didn't put it anywhere in social media because I don't want them to be harmed. I want them to learn from this. And we're going to learn from this as well. So, it's, we would never, ever, I don't know. I don't know how we could have done it differently that day, but there's a lesson to be learned in every bad thing that happens. So I just want everyone to be on the same page. And if somebody gets hurt now that the police or the detective is on her way, I'll feel a little less bad.
Yeah, there you go. It is what it is. That's for sure. If anybody wants to share their stories, again, when it comes to moving, we'll do that. Before we get into all the the hardcore political stuff that we have today with Biden and Trump and the Democratic Party, I don't like to see people struggle in life. But if you have Democrats who are trying to hurt you or trying to force policies on us and it's not even social policy, economic policy, safety issues. Yeah, I want them to be in disarray. And my God, is the Democratic Party in disarray.
Yeah, they are.
And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, I want to give a shout out to our advertisers or sponsors. By the way, if you're listening or know anybody else that would love to be a part of our show, the reach that we have, let us know. Lizzie at canceltheshow.com, Vic at canceltheshow.com. Let us know because we are grateful for who we have. Complete auto body repair. I told the story last week, took my girlfriend's Jeep in, called the morning of, got tires fixed, great price, couldn't believe how fast the job was done. You're not going to find a better company when it comes to taking care of your car, anything from A to Z. 314-731-7999. That's 314-731-7999. You can also go to CompleteAB.com. Let them know you're with Cancel This at any of the 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Why? Because, I don't know, maybe you'll get even go over 100% if possible. Because they also know that Cancel This brings them a lot of business. And when they hear that, they continue to advertise with us, which helps us pay off all of our bills. And of course, we've got big bills, so we're grateful for that. Do they sell tires? Terry, that is a great question.
Well, I think they do.
They do.
They do.
I took my own tire in. Megan had her own tire, so all they had to do was take the tire off her wheel, put the other one back on. But they could do that as well.
Yeah, and they can fix your old tire. I know we live, and my daughter lives where there's a lot of nails. And so they fixed many of our tires too.
CompleteAB.com. We've all been there. We appreciate it. Let them know you're with CancelThisShow.com. By the way, if you're in an accident or have had any sort of personal injury, you, your family, your friends, your loved ones, there's nobody better to call than David Gregory. We don't care who you go with, but you need to make a call at least to David Gregory. He is the conservative injury lawyer. Once again, he promotes himself that way, the conservative injury lawyer. 314-619-4230, 314-619-4230. If you want to look him up online, you can do that. He is conservativeinjurylawyer.com, conservativeinjurylawyer.com. I used him twice. I was hit twice. Used him twice, and it was the best call I could have made, because what Dave will also do is Dave will take off percentages that he makes and give it to you if you say you're from Cancel This. Tell him you listen to him on Cancel This. That way he can track, and of course he loves it, and he continues to advertise with us. We love Dave. I love Dave. I couldn't believe how much more money he told me from the get-go that my case would be than it would be from other attorneys. And there's a reason why some of the biggest names that you'll see advertising in the state of Missouri and across the Midwest use Dave. They promote their names publicly, but then they use Dave. Dave will take your phone call. I used him twice. You'll see. Try him out. It'll blow your mind. 314-619-4230. He's actually written some of the law that's on the books when it comes to personal injury in the state of Missouri, because he was a state representative. He's also running for state senate right now as well. WeQuipUSA.com. When it comes to renting items that you don't want to buy or you need something quick, check out their website, WeQuipUSA.com. Who knows? It may be tables, it may be chairs, it may be gaming systems, you may be tents, canoes, whatever the fact is. They've got all kinds of items. Check out their website. They connect you with other people who are looking to rent their items, and people who are also looking to rent items from other people. You can do it both at WeQuipUSA.com. Also, give a shout out to Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley and in Defiance, Missouri. The first one was so good, they did it a second time, and they have been packed out at their Defiance location as well. Work hard, play hard, all kinds of great food. Marla does an amazing job when it comes to the menu. Talk to 7-8 different people. They'll tell you 7 or 8 different food items that they have there. The great service, the great times, and people just don't go to Winty's once. They go back over and over and over again. And of course, we want to give a shout out to Capriati's. If you haven't checked out this new place, our friend Jonathan Heslop will be in tomorrow. Jonathan, as you may remember, owns Rockwood Charcoal, one of the best charcoals in America, made in the state of Missouri. He has done a massively incredible job with his charcoal. And by the way, he's going to be in tomorrow. I asked him how charcoal was this year, and he's like, it was terrible in Missouri.
Really?
Guess why?
Why?
The effing cicadas.
Oh, that's right, because nobody wanted to go outside. We didn't barbecue through that once.
Throughout the state of Missouri where cicada,
Yeah.
it hit their products. It blew my, I was like, oh my God, I've never thought about that. A lot of people didn't want to be outside with cicadas. So anyway, he started up this incredible, he had this on the East Coast called Capriati's. It's a sandwich shop. And he's like, I got to bring this to, and he's going to be bringing locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area.
Is he going to bring us a sandwich tomorrow?
He
I
might.
was wondering
I
the
want
same
one
thing.
so bad. I got to go there. I've not been there.
Well,
I
he's
want
supposed to be here at 9 in the morning, so I'll let him know about this. But I had it. I tested it out last week. We have. You want to show the video while I talk over it? Do you have that ready? You can do that, Joe. So Capriati's, it's an East Coast sandwich shop. One location right now. It's in Rock Hill. But if you go on and check it out, if you have friends, family members, I went in last week and I sampled items.
Oh, I bet that was so good.
It was, but you know, I don't eat that much anymore because I've been taking the Ozempic.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I want to be hungry right now. And I'm not. Obviously, those.
But did it still taste yummy?
Yeah, yeah. And it's different. They're different types of sandwiches. They're different takes on them, which is what I really love. That's Jonathan just walked by, so he'll be in tomorrow. Super strong conservative, not just you have to be a conservative, but he'll be in with us for the 9. That's Jonathan.
Yeah, he's a badass conservative. I can't wait that he comes in tomorrow and we can talk politics.
So anyway, check out Capriati's in the Rock Hill area. And when you go in, let them know you appreciate them advertising with Cancel This. That's how they know. That's how they appreciate and continue to do things. But this East Coast sandwich way that I absolutely loved it. I tried 4 different sandwiches. I'm not a big Italian, like an Italian club guy, but I even like that. It was just, and of course they cook turkeys overnight. Nobody else does this.
Yum.
So they roast turkeys all night, and he takes care of them every morning. So
that's the best.
do they make Cuban sandwiches? I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, that looks so good. Look at that. And Rock Hill is a good location.
Yeah. So Rock Hill is over there. They do, but their catering is what blows people's minds. They do so much in catering. And he'll talk about it tomorrow, but I wanted to give, that was Vic sandwiches, the little mini sandwiches. And that was a turkey, it's like a Thanksgiving Day sandwich.
Oh, yum. That
And I
sounds so
could not
good.
believe how good it was. So Lisa says, my husband wants me to drive all the way out to Capriati's to check it out.
We need to.
But just let him know that you heard about him on Cancel This. So anyway, we appreciate them advertising with us as well. This is Cancel This, cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house as well. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. And of course, you can catch us all the time on our website, all of our other episodes, whether we're live or not. Grateful from that standpoint of what we're doing here. News headlines, anything you can possibly imagine when it comes to water cooler talk. We're just trying to make a difference, and we appreciate you guys jumping in with us every day as well. Okay, it is an absolute shit show, and it makes me laugh with what's happening with the Democratic Party, because they have been so damn lying and evil and mischievous and deceivious when it comes to their dealings with Donald Trump since he decided to get back in to the election to try to become president again. None of them wanting things to be done in a fair way. And now they realize that they had a problem with Joe Biden. Now, I know that they may have this master plan, but if their master plan includes them looking like total dumbasses and their party in disarray, and usually we don't see that. It's the Republican on Republican crime. But now you have Democrats fighting with Democrats publicly about whether this imbecile, this man who, yes, has dementia, Parkinson's, something, should be running for president. Over and over again, day after day, the drama. Oh my God. Hollywood couldn't have made up the shit that is going on right now in DC with Joe Biden. It is out of this world. Okay. You know, Joe, I sent you a video late when it came to Jake Tapper. Can we run the Jake Tapper CNN video? Because Jake Tapper, again yesterday, went after Joe Biden. You may remember he called in to MSNB show yesterday morning, was the show with Joe and Mika, and sounded like
Joe and Mika.
He sounded like he was just off the chain. But Jake Tapper, who wants, and if he is a plant to do all of this, fine, whatever, but never in a million years would you ever see Jake Tapper ripping Biden, saying he should not even be on the ballot anymore. Here it is.
In reality, 72% of voters say that they believe President Biden is too old. That's 72. According to CNN's most recent polling. Voters have been saying this for quite a long time. The reality is that the Democratic elites are mostly late to acknowledge these age and ability issues compared to the rest of the public. The elites have been forced to reckon with it after the debate just 11 days ago.
Look at my career. I've not had many of those nights. It was a terrible night, and I really regret it happened. But the fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be on faith that can intervene on your way to go to, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea I'm too old.
The fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be out on your way to go, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea that I'm too old. Keep in mind, that soundbite is supposed to be reassuring to those Democratic supporters who have gone wrongly.
Did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
I don't think I did.
He doesn't think he did. He called into a couple of black radio stations where he said, among other things, this.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman, served with a black president.
Oh my
I'm proud
gosh.
to be the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America.
He's proud to be the first black woman? Not coherent. And even then, we later found out, from the radio host, that the Biden campaign had given her a list of questions to ask President Biden. That is a huge no-no in journalism.
Hell
and the host was
it
fired
is.
for it, but it remains quite telling that in the Biden campaign's efforts to show that the president has not missed a step, his campaign felt the need to feed questions to the hosts for a call-in radio interview. And the president still, even then, failed to deliver in many of his answers. Now, many elected Democrats are expressing concern about this answer, too, although it was quite coherent. George Stephanopoulos asking him how he would feel if he ultimately loses to Donald Trump, which polls have suggested he will.
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do.
Goodest.
That's what this is about.
As long as he gave it his all and did the goodest job he could do. That's what it's all about. Is it?
Oh my
Jake Tapper,
gosh.
thank you. Sweet baby Jesus, thank you for seeing him. Did I ever think I would say that in my life? Heck freaking no. Jake Tapper, CNN, the producers all going after Joe Biden with, guess what? Facts. Showing you what he's saying, showing you what he's doing. The same thing that we've done on Cancel This for a year and a half. Now you have mainstream media putting this out there. Everybody knows. Okay, so this means that surely all the Democrats would go, holy shit, this guy, we can't stick with him. But no, there's still Democrats saying he's our guy. What did he say? I'm the first black woman.
Yes, yes. But you know what, Vic? Why are you getting so upset about this? He's the goodest. He's the goodest.
He's the good. No, I'm happy.
Come on, he's the goodest.
I told you I'm not getting sad and sick about Joe Biden anymore.
No.
I told you I was laughing.
I know.
Because the Democratic Party is blowing up.
Yes.
And any Democrat that wants, I'm still voting for Joe Biden, give him this. Show him this.
Mm-hmm.
So which new vocabulary word's better, goodest or hugely?
I like both of them. You know what? You could say you are hugely the goodest producer there, Joe. We're going to put it together. We're going to put it in the Cancel This dictionary is the hugely goodest, and it's bigly.
Donna says Kermit needs to interview him.
Right?
Ginny says anyone who watched knows. There's a lot.
Know.
He's jumbling thoughts, sad, but whoever's behind this should be arrested because they're running the country and they weren't elected by the people to do so. So much is wrong with what's going on. Yes, that's what's wrong with what's going on. I'm laughing because he is just so bad. I'm laughing that CNN, that he is so freaking bad that even CNN is calling out every effing mess up now.
I know.
CNN, Jake Tapper, who has ripped and been on TV, Donald Trump over and over. Okay,
Okay, on the surface.
Can I say this really quick?
Okay,
I want to take a Lizzie phrase.
Okay.
It warms my cockles.
Of your heart.
Of my heart, that's right. Of my heart. That's the part I forgot.
It warms the cockles of your heart. I have to agree with you. It warms the cockles of my heart too that I'm watching the Democrats all implode like that. It really, I love it. But here's the thing. It's like I no longer trust these assholes. So now I'm like, okay, all right. So these people are warming the cockles of our heart.
How do you spell cockles? Do you know?
Yeah,
I need a spelling on cockles.
I think it's Cockles.
Okay, cockles.
Cockles of our heart. Okay, so while we're over here at Cancel This, having our cockles all warmed up, but here's the thing: why can I not get out of my brain that because this is so obvious and has been so obvious that now they're on to the next thing?
Oh, those are cockles.
Those are cockles. See, don't you see the cockles of your heart are getting all warmed up?
Oh,
the cockles.
Okay, those are cockles. Thank you, Joe.
Cockles.
Pro Joe.
Everybody should know what a cockle is, and especially if it's going to warm, get all warm in your heart.
That's another Lizzie term.
Mm-hmm.
Cockles.
Cockles.
Warms
That's right.
the cockles of my heart.
That's right. And that's the goodest thing that could happen to you. It's big. It's huge and bigly.
Oh my God.
But you know what? I mean, it's like, okay, I'm all excited about this too. This is great entertainment to watch them implode. But I don't trust any of those Democrats. And why is it that I think, in one way, it's great that Donald Trump has been really quiet while this is all going on, and he's been spending a lot of time golfing. But I hope that he's 4 steps ahead of these, as I called them earlier, assholes, because I don't trust them. It almost makes me think like, no matter what they do, even if Joe Biden is. Because Wisconsin yesterday changed some sort of a law again that you can put in the mail-in ballots and you can ballot harvest again.
It's going to happen.
So I'm trying to get really giddy and excited about this, but I'm also thinking the fix is already in. That's why not really that many people care about it.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen with Joe. I said yesterday, there's no way they can keep him. There's absolutely no way they can keep him and run him when CNN is even putting the information out. Okay, we had a massive issue yesterday at the White House.
Yeah, we did.
KJP came out, and so did John Kirby. They had to double team it. KJP, the worst White House press secretary in the history of our country, with the worst administration, with the worst VP and the worst president. Obviously, you see that. They show you on a daily basis. Why she couldn't do the job herself, I don't know. Well, yeah, I think I do know, because she was a DEI hire, which means didn't earn it. Now, she has gotten very combative because, granted, she has the toughest job in America, coming out and lying for Joe Biden
every day,
trying to act like he is capable. He is cognizant. He can do the job. Well, yesterday there was a massive argument back and forth, because he has had 3 physicals, and every time he has a physical, he has a cognitive test, allegedly. But then and she wouldn't give the name in this.
Mm-hmm.
Why was a leader in Parkinson's disease brought in?
Like several times.
Oh, it's natural. It's part of his physical.
Yeah.
And then we had a Dr. O'Connor. Well, I'll talk about Dr. O'Connor later. But just listen. I mean, this is the White House this is the press corps going after KJP because, first of all, she lied about him having any sort of test. Then he said he did. And then they have to go back and they lie. And then here's the White House. You know what? I think the reporters, they really thought that the Democrats were doing things right. Then they start to get, oh my God, we are being lied to.
Yeah.
And then the debate happened 11 days ago. And then all of a sudden, boom, here you go.
Neurologist. That's 3 times, right? So I am telling you that he has seen a neurologist 3 times while he has been in this presidency. That's what I'm saying. I am telling you that he has seen them 3 times. That is what I'm sharing with you, right? So every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question.
No, it's not.
No, it is. It is. You're
Dr.
asking
Kevin
me.
Kennard, come to the White House.
But I also said to you,
conditions.
Ed, I also said to you, for security reasons, we cannot share names. We cannot share names. We have to.
Others he would have met with.
We cannot.
You can share names in regards to if someone came here in regards to the president.
We cannot share names of specialists broadly, from a dermatologist to a neurologist. We cannot share names. There are security reasons. We have to protect. I understand that. I hear you.
Right there for anyone to see.
Ed, I hear you. I cannot from here confirm any of that because we have to keep their privacy. I think they would appreciate that too. We have to give them.
The doctor.
We have to keep their privacy.
It is public information.
I hear you. Guys, hold on a second. There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this aggressive way.
Missed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
What do you missed about? What do you missed about?
Everything he just asked about.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that you guys asked.
Correctly, then have to come back and clean up.
I never answered the question incorrectly. That is not true. I was asked about a medical exam. I was asked about a physical. That was in the line of question that I answered. And I said, no, he did not have a medical exam. And I still stand by that. Matter of fact, the president still stands by that. He had a verbal check-in. That is something that the president has a couple times a week.
Now in regards to Dr. Kevin Kennard.
And I am telling you right now that I am not confirming names from here. It is the security reasons. I am not going to do that, Ed. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me. I'm not going to confirm a name. It doesn't matter if it's even in the log. I am not going to do that from here. That is not.
Good old Ed. How many times did she say it?
And she wouldn't answer Peter Ducey's questions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes she does. She has a tough job. I get it, but she's not ready. She's not qualified, and she's having to lie. Mm-hmm. And she lies a lot.
Yeah, she does.
And she's gotten, and it's not just us saying it, she's getting caught in lies.
Yes.
About the physical, about everything else. His administration is a shit show.
It really is.
It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. You see everything. This is why there's no way, even though it's 4.5 months out, they can continue to run him. And I know people disagree with me. There is no way in hell. When's the last time you saw a sitting president going through this kind of crap?
Yeah, this is bad.
In any country.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
It's embarrassing.
So it's on the American people if they try to run this guy, which is why I say there's no way in hell he runs.
But see, okay.
No way in hell.
Like Connie's saying, if Obama wants him gone, he will be gone. And there's so much truth to that. But that being said, we're forgetting that Jill and Hunter, they want him to run so bad. And unless they can convince him or anyone can convince him about the delegates, he holds all the keys to all the delegates. So I mean, you know what? It sounds like common sense that he should be gone. I don't want him to be gone because I think Trump it can beat him easily. But that being said, unless he gives up those, did you guys not hear him yesterday? He was like a little kid on the TV. You can't make me go. You can't make me go. I'm fighting for the American people. And that's even how he sounded, like a little kid throwing a temper tantrum. And so I don't know if he knows that's what he's doing or if he's got Hunter and Jill in his ear going, you're the best thing since, chocolate ice cream. You should be running.
Yeah. Tammy says she was watching the press conference as well yesterday, and there were other reporters trying to call her out and force her to answer truth.
Yeah.
Jamie, our country is a sitting duck right now.
We are a sitting
we
duck.
Should be
it's
terrified.
terrifying.
This was another aspect of what we showed last week, not just to make fun of Joe Biden, but get while the getting's good, because who knows what's going on behind the scenes right now, what deals are being done. I still think back to Obama giving Iran billions of dollars before he left office. That made a whole lot of sense, yet the media did not call him out for it.
That's right.
And we'll get to Jill. Jill and Hunter love the perks from the presidency. Of course they do.
Yeah, they do.
If anybody, have they found out whose Coke that was at the White House yet?
Well, we can guess. Yeah, of course.
Hunter.
We don't know whose Coke's there.
These are all the problems that you see. Okay. Then what happened last night? Because Joe Biden has lost it, and we see it on a daily basis anytime he comes out.
That's right.
So last night, Dr. Kevin O'Connor released a statement, who did the physicals, affirming that Biden has no conditions that would render him unfit for presidential duties. Dr. O'Connor, your license should be pulled from you immediately. How you can go back, look yourself in the mirror, or even sit with family, friends, and colleagues and refer to yourself as Dr. O'Connor, stating that what you found was that man could be president, that rigorous job, which he can't do now, for another 4 years into his late 80s. Dr. O'Connor, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on your law license. Shame on where you practice. You are an absolute liar. And that's being kind.
Yeah.
The average American can see that he is not, and you put your name on that, which makes me think, what the hell is going on? He said, in the letter that he put out there, it was an extremely detailed neurologic exam. And it was, again, reassuring to him, and that there were no findings which would be consistent with any sort of central neurological disorder, such as stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, or ascending lateral sclerosis, nor are there any signs of cervical myelopathy. Now, would that also include dementia? It didn't say that. In essence, what the letter was stating was that Biden does not have dementia, Parkinson's, or any neurological condition that would prevent him from performing his presidential duties at the age of 81, that people should not read that much into his frequent visits by the neurologist. But the neurologist, I think he comes quite a bit.
That is ridiculous.
But remember, as Connie just said too, remember, he was not allowed to be prosecuted because the special investigator said, he's an old man. He's not capable of going through it.
Right.
Remember, they said he was not mentally fit for trial. Special prosecutor Herr. But then you have Dr. O'Connor saying he is mentally fit and he's ready to go on to be president for another 4.5 years. Remember the scorecard of what you're told, because we have so many things thrown at us in our life of comfort and just fun times, and everything's going to be taken care of us for us in America.
Yeah. I mean, it's the fact that we're even
Dr. O'Connor is his name. Dr. Kevin O'Connor. And he came out and he said that last night at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Well, and KJP up there just fighting with good old Ed just shows the meltdown and the lying that she's doing. And I agree with all the people on the chat.
The line of what, Coke?
Yeah, the line of Coke. Yeah, that's right.
It's KJP's line.
She's lying. Maybe it's her Coke. Maybe it's hers.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's just, I mean, we are a sitting duck here. It is terrifying. If you allow your mind, like you said, there's 4th of July and a bunch of fun stuff and a good diversion of what's going on. But if you allow yourself to actually take in what is really going on in this country, that you've got KJP lying and lying, and now she acts like she's the victim. And you see that other countries, like if you go to other news sources that is not American news, they are laughing at us. They think we're ridiculous. They think Joe Biden is awful, but they like him because they know they can get money from him. They are terrified of Donald Trump. They hate Donald Trump. And anyone that's anyone understands that he is pushing back on this establishment that is trying to get us. And when I say they're trying to get us, they are. They want to take our absolute great way of life and ruin it. And now you're seeing the result of evil people. They're all imploding. And it sounds great on surface level that they're imploding and the Democrats are imploding because, like you referred to earlier, Vic, it's usually where the Republicans doing that. Now it's the Democrats doing it and the Republicans are being quiet. And that's probably their best tactic right now, is to just let them implode and be quiet. But I still don't trust the outcome here. I just don't trust.
What part of this?
I guess
there's no way Barack Obama, as we have talked about, and others in the elite, the class that we talk about,
yes,
the deep state. Once again, many liberals even referred to there being a deep state.
Correct.
Would allow Joe Biden to do this. They could stop this.
Right.
Couldn't they? He's like that runaway train right now, that old angry grandpa. You just leave him alone and the mouth just runs off.
Yeah.
He's showing his anger now.
That's
he's
right.
lost it. And he's trying to give a proof of life every time he's out right now.
That's right. Because they kept him in the basement in 2020 and now they have him out on purpose, running his mouth. And it's great to talk about. It's great for fodder, but it's like, what do they have up their sleeves that they're allowing to do this? Could it be something as simple as the bait and switch and they have somebody else? But I think it's more than that. I think it boils down to the election steal is what I think it, because no matter who they put in, I think unless they put Michelle Obama, Trump wins no matter what, because they see the Democratic Party being such a cluster. It
is a cluster right now.
It really is. And like Jay's saying, Joe Biden is in denial. And I think that's true of anybody with an illness you don't want to face. And he likes the
But
power.
he doesn't make decisions.
He's not making them. It's Jill. It's Jill that's making all these decisions for him. But why is she doing that? I still think you're making a good point, Vic, that there is another reason why that we're not seeing here, that because they could stop this if they wanted to. They absolutely could stop this. And they're purposely not stopping it.
Okay, and and Brenda says he behaves like my mom did for a few years before she died at 85.
Yeah.
No, it's like, it reminds me of my grandmother before she passed away as well. Once again. Jeannie also says, Jeannie comes in and says, my mom and I had a long conversation the other night. We feel there's something bigger than all of this in charge.
I agree.
And Trump knows as well. So there's absolutely nothing that can be done right now as we wait and see, but just know that something is happening.
That's right.
Something is going on. And there's nothing any of us can do about it.
Right, because it's a diversion. We talk about this on the show a lot. They divert us from what's really happening. And I think this is a diversion.
I don't agree that there's nothing.
Do we see you, Joe?
Yes. I don't agree that there's nothing we can do about it, because if there was nothing that we could do about it, they wouldn't be trying to distract us and divert us.
Good point.
If there was nothing we could do about it, it would just be happening.
Right. And I don't disagree with you on that. I just think what's going to happen next, we can't do anything about it because we don't know what it is yet. That's the only reason I meant there.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you, because they're scared to death of we the people, because we the people now see what they're doing. We've been seeing it. Even the people that came late to the party, a lot of them were at least seeing it in 2016. And it became very evident in 2020 with the pandemic, as I call it. I just think there's something else up their sleeve. We just don't know what it is yet. And maybe it's something simple, because whatever it is, it boils down to they want the election to go their way.
They're showing us what they want us to see.
Yes.
Imagine what we're not seeing yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And like Jeannie's saying, we just can't understand how good is bad and bad is good. And that's so true. We don't understand why that's happening, but it is. I mean, we're told to not see with our own eyes. We're told things that are really bad is now good. And they have us in an upside down world on purpose for a bigger reason.
Well, the other part that we have here is you also had John Kirby yesterday speaking, which was bizarre. They're talking about Joe Biden getting ready to have a big boy press conference.
A big boy press conference.
Every one of his press conferences should be a big boy press conference. He's the damn president of the United States.
That's ridiculous.
Another example of how they're just lost.
After that, the president will hold a press conference. I guess a big boy press conference is what we're calling it. And take some questions from y'all.
This week, President Biden will speak to national labor leaders of AFL-CIO, host the NATO summit to show the unprecedented strength of our alliance, hold a press conference, a big boy press conference, according to Justin Sink from Bloomberg.
After that, the president will hold a press conference.
What did we just?
A big boy press conference.
What did we just hear?
And they both said it, didn't they?
What did we? It almost seemed like KJP did not want to say it.
I know,
but was forced to say it. Like, I guess this is what we're calling it, and she looked to the side.
Yeah.
If somebody is a press secretary and have a lot of speaking history, and they know you don't, that's how you try to get away from it, to distance yourself. Well, and she's like, a big boy, and then she's like, I guess that's what we're calling it. And she looks. Somebody insisted. Some consultant, somebody wanted them to say a big boy press conference. Is it on purpose to make him look bad? Because come on.
That's weird. That's so
it's not like we're dealing with kindergartners, but in Biden's case, we are. This is the president of the United States and we're referring to it as a big boy presser.
It can go two ways. It can be because they're trying to make him look bad, or they're just saying that wasn't that important, and Donald Trump wasn't really that great, and any of the debates or any of the pressers he did before. Who says that? Have you in your lifetime ever heard somebody refer to a president having a big boy?
Never.
And who are these people looking at when they look off stage? Why are they looking for the approval of anybody? You know what I mean?
Correct.
These are the people that are supposed to be making the decisions and giving us the information. Yet they're looking off. Even the president looks off to the side, looking for approval of what he's saying.
Well, and while this is all happening, and I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, Glenn is saying once we allow Ukraine to join NATO, get ready for World War III. I mean, there's so many more things.
I know that sounds crazy, but I believe it.
I believe it too.
If and when they join NATO.
Yeah, look for it. I mean, look for and think about what's going on. Ukraine can never win this war. They cannot. And some of their young men are still dying. And look who's allowing that. Our president, our big boy president, is sending money for the Ukrainians to get killed because Russia is always going to beat Ukraine just by the size and volume of the country. I mean, think about this. This is ridiculous, and we've been being played the entire time. And now it's all exposed. And I do agree that some of the Democrats are like just completely just baffled by this, and they didn't see it coming. And then you see the some that you knew it was coming, and now they're imploding because they didn't think we saw it.
Lisa's predicting they're going to arc inside him. Just think Clinton's on that. Blame it on ultra-right MAGA. Institute martial law, stop the voting, come for our guns. It's the final push.
Well, she does it. You know, just think about how radical that sounds.
We have a war. There's no voting, and we brought
this up. We
did a segment on this 2 weeks ago. I don't think it's so far-fetched. What happened in Ukraine? Zelensky, what did he do? He stopped voting.
That's right.
Nope, you can't vote me out of office. We're in a war. I'm going to stay in here. And then he went and got more money from America.
That's right. So you got to remember Ukraine. You got to remember what happened a couple days ago in France. That election was stolen, is what a lot of people there believe. So look at those two countries. It's headed our way. It's already been here, but I mean, they're going to do anything and everything to stop this election. So what Lisa said sounds. Oh my gosh, if you're somebody that's not paying attention, Lisa sounds like a radical right now. But for all of us, she's right on the money here because they tried the pandemic and it worked. It worked. They were able to steal the election through the ballots. Wisconsin now is making it illegal to bring back in those drop box. Look, all you have to do is look at France and Ukraine. What's coming next here? Because they're going to do anything and everything to try to get Trump not elected. That's what they're going to do. And Biden is just
Biden
part
can't
of the
beat
diversion.
him. Kamala can't beat him.
No.
Then we can all debate what happens with the mail-in ballots and
Correct.
illegals voting. I do believe that USA would become unhinged if no voting.
Yeah.
I do. What that means,
I agree.
unhinged, I don't know. Protesting, I don't know. I don't. They're. And as Mike says, just remember, 4 years of Trump, no wars. Almost 4 years of Biden,
That's right.
3 wars, including a war at home, including Bush's, including Obama, including Clinton. There were all wars. The only president where there were no wars was Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It all should tell you something. Once again, remember the scorecard. Keep the scorecard. It'll tell you everything you need to know. But as Americans, we forget because we're always looking elsewhere and we have so many things thrown at us through media and life and attention,
Yes.
families and vacations and things of that nature.
I mean, our inside of our country, and Kimberly's saying that if we don't get to vote or they steal our elections again, America's going to become completely unhinged.
Well, I think it's a good time to bring this up. Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted out some information yesterday, and we still you're going to hear from Joe Biden still. Just think, Joe Biden had 0 events yesterday, but his freaking wife had 3.
Mm-hmm.
He can't talk, but she is. Wait to hear what she had to say. We've also still got Hakeem Jeffries in the House. He was ripping Biden. Now he's back on board. Oh yeah, we're going to show it to you in just a second. But here's a tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think it's a good time to show this right now because it all goes into what we're kind of talking about with everything going on. She says there are a lot of things happening in Washington this week. Democrats are lining up like blind sheep behind their bumbling, dementia-ridden president to keep destroying America, voting on bills that will never pass the Senate in more senseless HFC drama. But the one concern to me is that NATO is here this week. NATO is in D.C., charting an irreversible path to world war instead of a clear path to peace. It's pretty hard to believe anyone from any country say they support Ukraine when all they say is to keep the war in Ukraine going, that is killing an untold number of Ukrainian men, has conscription units roaming the streets, dragging off teenage boys, and is leaving countless women as widows and children as orphans. And the dementia-ridden president is the guy at the table holding America's checkbook, forcing the rest of us to keep paying for it, referring to this war that is unwinnable.
Well said. Well said.
MTG for the win.
Yeah. I mean, that makes so much sense. We've been talking about when you send even some of our men and women overseas for these senseless wars that make no sense. And when you figure what she was saying, she told us a lot in there. We can speculate about everything else, but really what goes on DC between now and really November is very telling on what they're trying to do to us for the election. They're not trying to bring peace. They're trying to bring war. And the Democrats, and what she's talking about is the Democrats that matter. And what I mean by that, the ones that are just speculating on the news, on mainstream media, they're not in legislation. These Democrats are purposely trying to present bills that they know are not going to pass. Why the hell would they do that? It's just another diversion tactic to implement more ways to have war. I mean, we're in serious trouble here.
You've got the World War III possibility, NATO in town this week. There's so much going on. Joe Biden's lost. Democrats going after Joe Biden. CNN going after him.
That's right.
It's like, what? Are you kidding me? This has never happened in our country, not in modern times.
No.
Not when it comes to politics. No freaking MSNBC. Even Joe Scarborough going after Joe Biden. You had 2 more Democrats late last night in the House said he has to go. But then you had a few Democrats from a few days ago who said he needed to go. Now coming back saying that they support him even after all this. Okay, Hakeem Jeffries, Minority Speaker of the House. Listen to what he had to say. This guy, okay, he shouldn't be in the position he's in. All right. I mean, it is what it is, but here's Hakeem. Are you crazy? He supported Joe Biden. Here you go.
Biden staying as your Democratic nominee.
Yes, I made clear the day after the debate publicly that I support President Joe Biden and the Democratic ticket. My position has not changed.
Okay, thank you. Your position has not, and that is the leader of the Democrats in the House. Just remember that. After everything that you're seeing and showing, He looked like he was lying when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't look at the reporter. He's looking down. You can learn a lot by watching people in their nonverbals. And by the way, if you ever want to know if somebody's lying to you, there are little tips and techniques that you can study online.
Yeah, you can.
I learned a lot of it in media with being a TV reporter, and in regards to going out and speaking to people, how people look, how they act, how they move,
their body language.
Yeah, which way they look, mannerisms, because you get to know somebody. That dude's lying. He was uncomfortable as hell giving that answer, but that's what he's been told to give. Why is Hakeem Jeffries been told to support him when new and more people are coming out in the House going after him? They're all going after him. That hasn't stopped. They continue to go after him. And then, does it have anything to do with this? Oh, AOC, who cares about her, but she's supporting him. Of course.
That's right. Of course she's supporting him. Of course she is.
Connie says, watched the show Lie to Me. I'm not familiar with that. Landon says, kinesic interrogation. Lisa also says, I follow 4 guys who do body language evals on YouTube. Crazy how the subtle clues we throw.
That's right.
It is. If you're lying and if you've done something, what you don't even realize that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when people have lied to me. I have. Just try to be honest as possible.
It's hard sometimes, when somebody's lying to you, but you don't know what they're lying about. And that's our Democratic Party right now. We know they're lying. You can check their body language.
Look at him. He's lying.
He's lying. I mean, it's so obvious. And why are they lying? Because they have nothing at this point. And a lot of them, their jobs are at stake here because they know that the House and the Senate, they don't have all the votes, and they will do anything to lie. I mean, if you are defending Joe Biden after all of this, and that you now have to have big boy debates and big boy pressers, and now you have to refer to the President of the United States as doing big boy things, that's unreal.
Wow. Landon says, I took a 40-hour class in it on deciphering when people lie when I was a cop. Some amazing stuff can be learned.
That's right.
Yeah, use that with politicians.
Yeah.
As we're starting to see.
That's right.
Okay. Jill Biden. What is her role in all of this that's going on? We just got done telling you, Joe Biden had 0 events yesterday. 0. Why the hell is his wife out with 3 events yesterday? She's the one with the spite and vinegar and what the hell? Oh, just listen to what she says. Joe couldn't go out and talk, but she did 3 events again. And keep in mind, everybody knows she had to help the poor man off the debate stage 11 days ago. If anybody knows he is not capable and cognizant to do the job, it is her. But all of a sudden, have you seen Jill Biden out more now?
Yeah.
She's out more now.
All the time.
It's almost like she's picked up the torch and she continues to run. Listen, I mean, this is eerie to me, and we'll break down what she says afterwards.
Joe has made it clear that he's all in. That's the decision that he's made. And just as he has always supported my career, I am all in too.
Oh, thank God, Jill.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Right.
Thank
God for Jill.
I'm all in too. I'm all in too.
I'm all in too.
Her voice.
That's terrible. That is just terrible. And that's your first lady there, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. You know why she's all
an
in?
enabler big time from the chat line
is.
from Maddie. She has all the power right now.
She has all the power. She really is.
What a good boy, my husband, as we heard her saying before too.
And he's going to do a big boy things coming up. He's going to do big boy things. And so she's now probably the one with the earpiece talking to Obama. And maybe she's gone rogue. We don't know. Maybe she's gone rogue and isn't even listening to Obama, and she's doing what she wants to do. Because we always have to remember, as moms, we're always mama bears. And it behooves her to stay in to protect Hunter. It behooves her. And it's not because she's his real mom or whatever. I think she was his babysitter. But nonetheless, it protects her family. So she might be running for reasons that are completely different than we think. She knows her family is a crime syndicate family. But as long as Joe Biden is there, there's a deflection from the real problems.
Let it sink in.
Yeah.
All of these issues are going on in the year 2024 with all of the problems that we currently have, with all of the things that are happening domestically and internationally. And Jill Biden is out there campaigning when Joe can't. Joe called in yesterday morning to MSNBC and made a big fool of himself. And then she was out there. Jeannie calls her a gold digger. Yeah, I've known people like that.
Yeah.
You look at them like, okay, they just want money.
They just want money.
And no, I'm good. She was a gold digger, and she got used to that lifestyle. I know plenty of women who, oh no, I love this person, and it's all about money.
Right.
It's all about gold digging.
But you know what? If she was not the president anymore, people on the chat line would really miss her very drapery sundresses. They would miss her.
Yeah, right. Did that come from the chat line?
Yes, it did.
Okay, I was wondering where that came from. So all of this is going on, and the Republicans are quiet.
And I think they should be quiet right now.
Donald Trump is very quiet.
Very quiet.
I can't remember we haven't heard a lot from him since the debate.
No, he's been really quiet. A few little things on Truth Social, but really he's quiet. And you see a lot of videos of him. He's golfing.
He's building the suspense of the VP.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's resting.
He is doing that.
And they're preparing because next Monday starts the RNC.
That's right. That's right. I think it's great that the Republicans are being quiet. Other people disagree with me and think they should speaking up more, but what is there to say? There really isn't. Right now, this is golden to just rest your voice, be quiet, and let the Democrats, well, I almost called them a bad word. But the Democrats.
Well, people say he's letting Biden hang himself. Yeah, right now is the time to be quiet.
Yeah.
But Trump did address what's happening. I mean, he did it quietly. He did this in an interview yesterday. He was asked about, is Biden going to be the nominee? And he said, quote, "It looks to me like he may very well stay. And he's got an ego," talking about Biden, "and he doesn't want to quit. He doesn't want to do that." Then Trump says, "It just looks to me like that's what he wants." So Trump said that. Then Trump also went on to say that he said that if Biden is forced to step down, he believes that Kamala Harris will be your nominee.
Yeah.
And that's who I still think is going to be the nominee. I don't think it's going to be Biden. I think it's going to be Kamala. And if they're smart, if they could possibly get Michelle Obama to join that ticket.
Correct.
That could, even though it's a terrible ticket.
It is a terrible ticket.
It could swing independence. It just could,
if they get caught, swing independence.
Because I think the media will do whatever they can to get, they're not, just because they're ripping Trump does not mean, or ripping Biden does not mean they love Trump.
Oh, absolutely.
They're trying to get the problem out of the way to bring in somebody and then praise them as if they're the new Messiah.
That's right. And they can sway a lot of people that way. And even if Trump still wins, it makes the cheat look easier, like it could be plausible. Because if Donald Trump does not win this time around, everyone knows that even denied the election had interference or was stolen last time, they no longer think that. Everyone knows that Donald Trump is winning by a large margin. So if they run him, then everybody knows it's a loss. They know. And so even if they cheat and say that Joe Biden loses, that's harder to swallow. But if you have Obama in any part of that ticket, people would then go, okay, well, maybe he really did win. Or she.
Trump went on to talk about Kamala Harris. He says, "I think she's an ineffective person. Remember, she was in charge of the border. She's never been there. She didn't do a good job. And she hasn't done a good job on a lot of things." That was with his interview with Sean Hannity.
That's right.
It would seem to me that from a political standpoint, that's who they're talking about, the Democratic Party is going to go with. They're not even talking about alternatives at this point.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump. And then he said one final thing. "I think unless they use the 25th Amendment, which they'd use in a different sense," he, talking about Joe Biden, has all the power. He has the delegates. He doesn't have to get out. There's nothing they can do to get him out. So he'll get the nomination.
Correct.
That's what Trump told Sean Hannity.
Yeah. I tend to believe that's what's going to happen. And I have from the beginning. If I had to say today what I thought I was going to say, and up until the debate, without a doubt, I thought for sure they're just going to run Joe Biden. And then after the debate, I thought, well, maybe people are right that they will pull him out. I think they're going to run him to the end. I really do, because Joe Biden is not going to get out. Jill's not going to let him get out. And if you were...
It doesn't appear that way now, but there's no effing way in hell they can run that man, especially with everything that's going on. And how could he get 10% of the vote?
Well, I don't think he can get 10% of there is, in our country, there's 10% of dumbasses for sure. So, I mean, there will definitely be 10% that votes for him. There will be, because the Trump derangement syndrome is still huge. And you've got your nose ring, purple hair liberal sitting in mama's basement that will vote for him because they literally just think Orange Man is bad. I mean, they literally do. So, I mean, there is a group, that group is still always going to be there because the culture of our country, unfortunately, has changed to allow that sort of behavior here. And Mike's saying we're not ready for a woman president, if ever. If it is Michael Obama, I think she still loses. Now, that's what Mike is saying. So, and that could be true. There could be a lot of people that are not ready for a woman president. And I'm not saying that's true or that's not true. I would love to see a woman president, but I don't know one woman right now that would be a better candidate than Donald Trump to save this shithole of a country right now. I mean, that's what it's becoming. We're losing our freedoms left and right. So if there's a woman that's just as strong as Trump, show her. I'll vote for her, but I don't see one right now. I just don't.
Well, something else came up yesterday. The Biden administration and the White House, they actually opposed legislation. If you're an American, how could you back this? They opposed legislation that would require proof of citizenship to vote. Now, I know we're not surprised for people who listen to the show, but they're saying it in public. It is smack dab in your face who they are. Joe Biden said they do not support proof of citizenship to vote, which says we want illegals to vote, which says we need illegals to vote. They did not support it. Think about that. They do not support citizenship to vote. You have to have an ID to play Little League sports, but no ID to vote. They don't want it. And they're saying it out there. That should be the headline on every story, publication, news, radio, digital, you name it. That should be the number one story, right? But it's not.
You know that according to Troy, Michael Obama has cockles. Just in case they don't warm my heart.
Maybe he probably does.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's what they're saying, but it doesn't. I don't know. Michelle or Michael does not warm the cockles of my heart.
No, I wouldn't want to warm my cockles.
Yeah, no warming our cockles. Yeah.
This is Heather says, this is why I have disagreed with you, Vic, on the too big to rig. They will use those illegals to win again if they have to. I know it's a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with Heather. I have been saying that I want it to be too big to rig, but I think something's up. I really do. I think the Democrats are looking like they're in a disarray, but I think the people that are above the people that we're allowed to see know exactly what they're going to do next. They know why the border's open. There's no reason for that border to have been wide open. There's no reason other than to do two things: destroy Americans' way of life by stealing their jobs and causing crime. And the second thing is to become voters and take our resources. So, I mean, it is very true that you're going to see, and I would love to hear people's opinion on this, on the day of the election day in November, to see how many people that do not speak English are in your election line. Take a notice of that.
Do we really think that are they that stupid? Are illegals really that stupid to think that they would be put on some sort of pedestal?
Yes.
If they voted for Joe Biden?
Yes, because they're being told that, Vic. They're being told that Joe Biden is their savior.
They already are.
Yeah, I'm not buying it though, because I've seen some polling that also shows with illegals that they don't support Joe Biden in the masses like the Democrats hope that they would.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know that Trump says he's going to deport them. That would be enough to push them maybe a different direction, or maybe they're just not voting.
Well, they could not be voting, but I think that you will see
because they're already
voting
here.
with them. They are already here, but I think that they will vote. They are
treated very nice when they get here.
They are.
But are they really that stupid to think that it's going to continue?
Yes, I think they think that.
Why wouldn't they? This is the greatest country in the world.
I believe that they think that. I do think Joe Biden's administration or Obama, whoever, is doing a bait and switch on them. We see that they are brought over here. They're given Walmart cards. They're staying in fancy hotels or even any hotels at all, which is better than where they came from. They're giving free, I'm going to say this again, free healthcare, free public education, where we're paying the taxes on that public education.
True. We are.
Think about all that they get. So compared to where they come from, they're treated from royalty. Their kids go to school. They get packages of clothing and all this. I do believe that they are above us. Try talking to an illegal that speaks a little bit of English. They have so much disdain for us. They're being told that they are the next best thing to the Messiah.
But I also see, listen, it's not all the illegals getting all these things. I have seen on World News Tonight stories on illegals being upset that they came here thinking that things were going to be different. True. And they're not getting what they want. So it's easy for us to say, and this is the reporter in me looking at every aspect. Mm-hmm. It's easy for us to say, oh, they're going to vote for Biden. They're so happy. They're getting every. No, they're not. Not all of them. No, they're not. They're not. They're just not getting. As a matter of fact, they're upset at what they saw. And I did see another article that was focusing on one family that said things were better in Mexico than they were here.
That is true too. That is true.
I just want to make sure that we bring up all the information and all the facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm wondering if they're seeing the same stuff on their social media. You know what I mean?
Right.
Their algorithms are completely different.
You know that. You know that's right.
And when we go into the election, just remember, I would not be surprised to see whoever the Democratic candidate is win the popular vote. But it's not about the popular vote.
That's right. And that's why all they have to do.
And so that's where it focuses in those specific areas.
Right. Right. But that's because the swing states and the few states that we know absolutely cheated makes all the difference because the Electoral College. I mean, and I'm not saying we should get rid of it, but if these people do not there's a simple solution to this. If they come here and they were promised all these things by Joe Biden, but they thought Mexico was so much better than here, then get the F out of here. Go back to Mexico or Ukraine or wherever you came from. Or there's so many countries they're coming from right now. And if they really believe that, get the F out of here.
Yeah. And it is sad that some churches are hiding.
Churches are hiding.
We've talked about that too. The Catholic Charities group. It's I think people with good hearts that are just mismanaging. And once again, sometimes your heart becomes bigger than your brain. And then you think you're doing the right thing, but all you're doing is hurting somebody or you're hurting a country. Those are problems. Those are big time problems. Jay says, I'm not sure Biden can even win the popular vote now. I don't think it's going to be Biden. I said that. There's no way in hell they can run him. You still have Democrats who are all over the board on him right now. How is an 81-year man all of a sudden going to turn it around? He's not. He's not going to all of a sudden turn it around. Hell no, he's not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're switching up last minute so they don't have to run a campaign this year.
Could be.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
They are switching it up last minute so they don't have to run a campaign this year because any campaign from the Democrats this year is going to be a disaster.
It is going to be a Democrat. And if we don't think they're going to do that, then we're naive because all you have to do is in 2020, they kept people in their houses with masks on their face, fear if they didn't take a thing in their arm, they were going to be a jab. So we were distracted then with anger about our children going to school, going to get COVID or are scared that our kids had masks on or whatever it is. They will do something like that at the nth hour here too. I'm not saying it's COVID. We've already they've already overplayed their hand there, but it'll be something. And like Jeannie's saying, he's had 50 years to make a difference. What's new? And I'm assuming she's meaning Joe Biden.
Well, of course.
What is he going to be doing now that is going to help this country that he's never helped before?
Oh.
Yep. And think about all the people that we've talked about, even in the last last half of the show that we don't trust anymore. Churches harboring illegals. We've got people that are giving all kinds of money to illegals, but then we don't get it. We're thinking people are going to steal our election. We don't trust the Democrats. We don't trust many Republicans. We know there's a uniparty. We know there's a deep state. And we're like speculating on what they're going to do to us. We don't know exactly what they're going to do to us because at any moment they could switch it. But the bad thing of it is we no longer trust really anybody in America anymore. And we were
you shouldn't.
Well, you shouldn't, but isn't that sad? We were supposed to be the country, the bastion of freedom and hope and love and all this. And you know what? Our freedom is not, we're not free anymore. We're not free.
Coming out this morning, this from Laura Loomer, and this is what we focused on today. I'm laughing at the Democratic Party imploding.
Yeah, they really are.
She's reporting that Democrats leaving the meeting at the DNC say that they have not reached a consensus about whether or not Joe Biden should be their nominee. Okay, people, if the DNC is saying that, that they don't have a consensus on the sitting president being able to run again, they're not effing running him. There's no way. They're not all of a sudden going to come back and say, oh, yeah, we've decided he's good now. Oh, really? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Then she goes on to say the Democratic Party is imploding.
Yeah, they are.
Some members even walked out of the meeting which was being held. That was from this morning.
Yeah, they're losing their minds there in DC. They're losing their minds. And you know what? They don't know. Here's the problem. Say they don't run him. They don't even have an agreement on who to run. I mean, we're really close to the election and they don't know who to run.
They're not running Joe Biden. They're not running Joe Biden. They can't. I know. I understand how they can take away his delegates. He will have to disappear somehow, some way.
Well, that's the only way they can get rid of him.
Or he decides to back out somehow, some way. Maybe some deals are going on behind the scenes with Jill Hunter, some crack and some whores. Jill wants money, houses, planes, who knows? Somebody that promises she doesn't have to take care of him when he leaves office. All of those things.
Yeah. And like Bindy's saying, is there any precedent for this situation?
No.
There isn't.
No.
I have not seen any precedent for it. It literally boils down to these delegates. And he says he's not giving them up.
Megan says, and this is a question that I brought up last week, how could they not have had a plan in place where Biden literally falls over and then has a larger than life episode? I agree. The plan is Kamala.
Well, see, I think they have a plan for that because it would be Kamala and then they'll put somebody in that they want to run the country that's the VP. But here's the thing. They haven't unalived or gotten rid of Biden. He's saying he's not leaving and he holds the cards of the delegates. Or should I say Jill and Hunter hold the cards of the delegates.
Skip says maybe they're not imploding. Never underestimate the power of deceptiveness on the left.
Yeah, that's
even though, but the level has gone so far. This deceptiveness would be incredible, outrageous. Not even Hollywood could make up what's happening.
Right.
Where you have CNN going so hardcore at him, literally blasting him on a daily basis. When you have other top leaders saying, no, we need him. That deceptiveness, I don't even think you could think that up if that were the case.
Yeah.
I just think something's happened we're not expected.
Well, and Dr. Snyder on YouTube is saying the Democratic Party can't implode because they cheat. That's my whole point almost today is no matter what show we're seeing, what distraction we're seeing is I'm very afraid now that they're imploding so bad that their next option is they're going to cheat again. And that was with what Wisconsin said yesterday. And, you know, we kind of forget about that every once in a while because we think, okay, it happened in 2020 or so we say, and then surely we found a way to combat that. But have we? Have we found a way to combat that? No one has convinced me yet that our elections have integrity and they're going to be fine.
Question from the chat line. Curious, can a former two-term president be allowed to run as a VP?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I couldn't see that happening, but
so I guess where she's getting that, could Obama be the VP? Is that what maybe she's getting at? I don't know. I don't know I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. If somebody has an answer for that, look that up for us.
Has
'Cause I
anybody
don't
heard?
know.
Has anybody heard any more about AI lately? Have you noticed that AI is just all of a sudden out of the limelight?
We haven't been talking a lot about it.
I
No.
know, because we're so distracted with everything else.
Correct. I mean, and still, if you get on Facebook, AI is a thing and it's going around. But you're
Well,
right.
they're starting AI cities and stuff. We need to be looking at this a little bit more because I have a feeling AI is behind all of this.
Mhm.
I don't know. It just seems very
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah. Well, and Kimberly's saying again, like the end of the movie Dave, one big episode can get rid of Joe. So, I mean, and a lot of people on our chat line saying that their theory is that they'll cheat or start a war to hold the power. That's the consensus of all of our chat lines, is no matter what we're saying here, there's going to be cheating or they're going to start a war, both of which affects our election. And as bizarre as that sounds, I believe that too. I mean, I guess that really isn't that bizarre because we know what they did to us last time. So, but if you're somebody from the outside looking in and you've never heard all this, you'd be thinking, really, they're not going to cheat. They're not going to just start a war. But I believe they'll do that. There's nothing the Uniparty will do or will not do to make sure Donald Trump doesn't get in. So, and yes. And Jay saying already have the war. We are definitely involved in a war already. I mean, this stuff going on, it may not be the gun shooting war, but we're definitely involved. This disinformation that they like to say we put out is what they're doing to cause so many issues.
Okay. It is what it is. Man, oh man. Always want to leave you wanting more. I mean, that's a fast 2 hours. Of the fastest 2 hours in podcasting.
So much.
We are grateful for you guys joining us today. We'll see what happens today, where we go, what happens with everything.
A lot.
I mean, and that's why we come here every day, Monday through Friday, right now, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. Grateful for you guys jumping in on Cancel This, whether it's here live or on the recorded podcast on our website, canceltheshow.com. Love it when you guys give us ideas for shows. If you have any ideas for advertiser sponsors, let us know. Lizzie at canceltheshow.com, Vic at canceltheshow.com. We have a donate button as well. We are grateful for you liking, subscribing, sharing the show, and we'll be back to do it again tomorrow. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
I think we covered a lot, and there's so much more we could say, but we'll be here tomorrow to continue to say it.
All right. Sounds good. For Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Have a great day. That does it for this episode of canceltheshow.com.